How goes it, shipmates? Good. I think we're zoomed in enough. Are we zoomed in enough? I think so. I think I've got a little bit early. That was better than last week, being a bit late. Ahoy, Ben! I'm thinking of re-angling my camera. What do you think? Oh, are we all right there? I think we might be all right there, might we? What do you think? You get to choose, Ben. You're the first here. Do you want an overview or do you want me to tightly focus in? Whilst we're deciding that. Ah, I get you. Your wish is my command, sir. There we go. Jigglypuff is in the room. Ah, evening. So tonight, as if we weren't amused and entertained. Evening, how we doing? Ahoy! Good stuff. Tonight, part 3 of our installment of Jugular, we have the familiar set free. Jugs 23 is the code at Gripping Beast. And in Jugs familiar set free, you get. Let's see if I can get these pronunciations. I've got all the cards out ready. The Laquarius. Mr. Whipman guy. Secator. These sound like He-Man characters, don't they? Or He-Man's characters, say like this. In fairness. Cruel Pelias. Which is another one that they're not sure. But I think they wanted him in there because he was in the Gladiator film. Allegedly. And a Frakes, which obviously is especially a Thracian because he's got a Falx. One of my favourite weapons. Not. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? That sounds like I'm going to go out and murder people. Yeah. Mr. Whippy guy. He shall be known as Mr. Whippy guy for the rest of the evening. The dog decides 2 minutes in that he's going to take his bed over. Okay. Good evening, Rich. So we'll start off with the flesh tones. We can start with Moonstone Skin. I'm not going to get dragged into conversations like that, Ben. Okay, so we're using a bit of a pants brush just to get his flesh tone on. You can just Oop. Yeah, So, how we all been? That week flashed by, didn't it? I think this might be one of your um, weird dreams going on there, Cube. Yeah, so this is the third and final of the familiar packs. So I've got no excuse for what's the camera doing tonight? For a really weird white balance then. Yes, yeah, so I'm sorry if you can hear the fans running in the background. It got quite warm in there. That's a scooter, isn't it? Let's see if I can change the as we just join in with Goobler's Fever Dreams. Oh, huzzah! Did you get them finished, alright? Yes. Oh. Keep going, my friend. What I've been up to this week. I've been... Oh, blimey. I painted a beholder. I painted... What else would I paint? It's more Fomorian stuff. Old orc magic user, which I found in an old bit box. What else did I do? What else did we do? I added some more stuff to the website, some old 90s kind of high elves, Games Workshop-y ones. And then I've been plunged into the 30-Year War again. I'm not actually plunged into a war, as you understand, but you know what I mean. So they're all over the other side of the bench at the moment. Yeah, so there's a few of those to do. And then we're back on Friday night, Gladiator night, which I don't want to stay on focus tonight for some reason. I think it's picking up the back of the bench when I move out centre. So don't move out centre, I hear you cry. That's good. So, I'll have to give the Beastie Boys a visit in the week, I suppose, and find out what the next mission is. I can feel some more 100-Year War stuff coming on, in fairness. Unless you guys have got any particular preferences. Pick them back out with some. So I'm just doing our usual, mixing the base flesh with lots of medium, get it flowing on there. No. So it did happen today is, I think Griffin Beast released their Sword Point 100-Year War book. Haha! I repaired a load of Hinchcliffe models for somebody. They'd found them in the loft basically, and they were their first ever miniatures, and they were in the right state. Been up there forever, like, and that to try and just make a display piece out of some of them. The ones I could save. So I had to build horse legs and all that sort of palaver. One of his horses actually hangs around on my desk because I didn't have the heart to throw him away. Where is he? Here he is. Didn't have the heart to throw him out. He was that was the sort of state they were in when they were sent to me. And there was holes and all sorts in them. So he sits over here with basically an orc rider. Hangs around the back of the desk. It's like the last one I didn't need, if you know what I mean. I didn't want to throw it in the bin. It's quite a challenge to paint them now because it's like we got used to. Yeah, yeah. He has an orc, a mantic plastic orc rising over there, which is some sort of heresy, I think. But he seems happy. It's better than him going in the bin. That's for sure. One of my mates back in the day, when he had a habit of he'd buy miniatures and he'd paint them, and if he didn't like them when they're finished, he'd throw them in the bin. So if you went over to visit him at any particular point, you could just hook. Oh, actually, that's a metal plate. Excuse me. I do this every time I bloody paint this one. Because there's a crease, so be careful. I do it every time. There's a crease there, it makes it look like it's flesh, but it's actually a metal. I think so. I think he's sat at the back of my desk for about 5 or 6 years now. So, and the orc seems happy enough on board, so happy days. So it's been quite an interesting week, really, in fairness. I've got a box of old Bretonian Games Workshop plastics that were still on the sprue, and my friend made them up for me. So I've got like a large collection of those all of a sudden. So I'll be painting some of those up. Got a commission from somebody to do some demons, which includes Rao. Yes, got to paint Rao. All these years I've always wanted to paint him and never got round to it, and then somebody asked me to paint it. Which is nice. Yeah, so you won't ask the orc where the other legs went, in fairness. Yeah, keep that medium going in, especially on these hot days. Like we're all managing to stay warm. Warm. Yeah, I bet you're staying warm. Stay cool in this warm weather. Mm, yeah, yeah. I won't do the punchline. Yeah, that's also the what do you call a donkey with three legs, isn't it? Answers on a postcard. It's close. Wonky. Yeah. Just adding plenty of medium to help the wet palette out a bit. Okay. So let them dry for a sec. It will be a sec this weather. So we've got the rubbishy brush out. We'll get the gunmetal going. We'll take a swig of my drink. Anyone painting, or are we just all staying sat in front of a fan? That's quite a nice still shot of my desk, isn't it? It's quite gladiatorial. Right, let's get this gunmetal on. So, did you guys like all the different um, metals we did last week? Did you anyone see the photographs? I could actually pull them on camera now if you want to have a better look, I suppose. They're only just over there. There's some quite interesting effects, I think. Let's go on and put this sort of dagger on. It did look like he was going to stab himself in the leg. Nice. Oh, I found a load of wolves. All the old Ralpatha ones the other day. There's about 9 of them. All the old dire wolves. It's quite cool. I also found the old Grenadier orc chariot being pulled by, is it 4 wolves? Or 6 wolves, can't remember. It's quite big and it's very heavy. They do is other, it has leather rather than metal. What's that? The wolves. Yeah. It's not the same as the old miniatures though, isn't it? You can't poison yourself with the new ones. Right, this guy is going to be bronze, so we're going to stop with the silver on him. Is Forlorn Hope all the Ralpatha stuff? Because I think you can buy, is it Merliton you can buy the Grenadier, isn't it? It's alright, I did select this is not suitable for under 18s. Yeah, it's quite neat. The juggler rules, they kind of different. Oh, right, okay. Oh, I see. Is it the Goblin War platform or the one with the mace that looks like a football with spikes in it? They're both pretty big. What the hell plates? I wonder if they were leather on the back of his arm, but it's... Shark bait, guys. Oh, okay, I missed the art. Yeah, I'm with you. I've seen the ones above it now. Well, be quick, like a kill haul. Hmm. Yes. Apparently, this gladiator was very hard to injure, which is why in the film he gets stabbed in the foot, I think. But uh, and the helmet thus is pretty useless. So I know in the juggler rules, it cuts down the amount of squares he can technically see while he's in the arena, which is pretty cool. You certainly want to come up against him with your Sagittarius, would you? That we painted last week. His trait is massive. Yeah, I think it was just the helm. Well, it's another one of those gladiators they're not sure existed or not. A bit like the Sagittarius one. Well, there's only a couple reported. Um, I was going to say incidents. I'm going to make his shield metal as well at the back. Why not? Hmm. And on Frexy, he's got a gold sleevey thing on. I think that head was bronze again, but we're just going to do him silver. I know we can use that antique gold again, can't we? Because we liked how that worked last week. Well, that was the whole idea of his helmet, that he could. I think it was just bolted in. He obviously couldn't turn his head. We didn't try this one last week, did we? True brass. So let's give that a good old shake up. Well, I put the others next door. Yeah, so I do use greaves and helmet with this. See how that comes out. I didn't try this one. This is true brass, which is not dissimilar to the, was it ancient gold or something? It's very cool, Artemis. This is quite a strange metallic. It's not one that I usually use, so we'll have to try what shade to use in it. Might put like we did last week, use the what's it called? I was going to call it Seraphim. It's Sepia. I think it's going to be the one for go with this. It's going to get kind of stormy here. I've got some thunderstorms. Oh, mate. Yeah, so actually this one thins out quite nice actually. It comes out the pot as a lot of army paints do, a little bit thick. A bit of medium in there. Yeah, you look after yourself, Betty. I think with all these different metallics we've used, it's going to make these guys look quite interesting when they're in the arena all together. It's never fun unless you're the Hulk, in fairness. If you Hulk out afterwards, you know, if you, I'm sure they're not using gamma rays though, if in it. Just keep calm afterwards. Don't get angry, just in case. Until you're absolutely 100% sure. Oh, pardon me. Let's find another colour we don't usually use a lot of. Weapon bronze is another one we don't. When metallic paints always get a little bit affected by heat and pressure when there's storms around. You kind of want to jump out the pot at you. It's more a coppery look I was really after, but hey, if we put a couple of brushes on we don't like it, oh, it's going to work, I think. Makes a difference from us using the gold like we usually do. I don't think it's got the coverage of the golds, but yeah, the heat kind of snuck up or something. It wasn't too bad at the time. It sort of got hotter and hotter in the afternoon. And let's take the dog out. For might be a bit hot to take the dog out. Luckily, we've got lots of shade out the front, so just had a little potter around out there. Oh, okay, so yeah, this weapon bronze is going quite nice after a second kind of coat. We'll take that. Let's edge the edge of his shield while we're at it. Yuck. So what I'll do is I'll try and get a sneaky game of jugula over the weekend, so we can get some photos of all these guys in action. And I'm going to start doing some more videos for Pirate Rich Plays, because I've neglected doing that while I've been busy. Which is very, very naughty. This guy was going to be... I don't know if I want to do bronze now. Let's see what of the other one. There must be one we've not used yet. We've done tainted gold, haven't we? We've done the true bronze. think I'm going to go tainted. Actually, I'm going to do the greedy gold, I think, on him. Ooh. See what I mean? It's just gone crazy, this metallic paint. It's pretty hard when you're doing the gladiators to make them all look different next. If you want to do them quickly, you can paint them all just using one metallic. As we said in previous painting sessions of these, in fairness, where you've got to do so few miniatures, you can afford to spend a bit more time on them. If you want to, that is. I'll not put the flesh shade on, but it won't take long to dry this weather, I don't think. So I don't think it will hold us up too long. I don't know what else has been going on this week. So Griffin Beast released a new sword point module for 100-Year War. Which I want to take a look at, because I think some of the minis I did it in there. It's always nice to see your work in print. That's one of those games I wish I could play, but it's, as I said before, I like watching it because the tactics, actually, it's all about the tactics of actually the army you're using, and tactics actually, and usually for a game, actually work. But yes, yeah, because 100-Year War ones were out in it. No, was it the other way around? I can't remember, Rich. Yes, War of the Roses, isn't it? I think they're releasing on PDF as well, aren't they? Which they don't usually do. Beastie Boys getting all futuristic and techie. Mr. Whippy. Oh, yeah, I forgot it was going to go on Amazon as well. Martin did tell me, but I was listening, you know, as pirates like. Oh, okay. Well, good deed, mate. That's a good deed. Is a good deed. I should have really used a brush with a point on it for this bit. But I knew I was going to paint the rest in leather, so I thought, hey, I can get away with this and not ruin another brush for a bit. Cool. I'm tempted to paint this shield with the gold on it, but I won't. I'm going to do a colour on it. Are they not selling it on the Beast site then? I do kind of remember. Oh, right. I knew there was something. I remember mine was telling me something. Do you know when somebody's telling you something important, and you kind of a little tune starts playing in the back of your head? It's like doo, 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 doo. That's what was going on with me. Don't tell Martin. Martin, if you're watching, sorry. Right, so I'm just gonna run some Crusader Skin Speed Paint 2 over these guys. You see, I put the pomace on the base. I've not painted the base yet. I use that howling sand or whatever it is, speed paint. The sword point is a huge sort of Warhammer Ancient Battles size game. But it's got some clever sort of token system in it that is way above me working out. It's not actually that hard, but it's pretty easy to confuse me. It's quite sort of standard base in there, Rich, in it, so it's kind of quite accessible miniatures wise. Everyone tends to put like it's blocks of 4 infantry, as it were, and they use movement trays. So when something gets damaged, they take out so many elements, a bit like the old WRG days. I think the miniatures, when we looked at it, they're a little bit tightly packed to sort of use trays that you could fit, say, Saga round bases in, but you're basing like 4 infantry miniatures to a, I think it's a 50, might be a 40 by 40 for infantry. Yeah, yeah, but it's sort of, you can, yeah, Rich is right. Rich probably knows far more about it than I do. But yeah, you base them in blocks of 4s, or if they're light sort of skirmishers, I think they're in 3s, and that sort of palaver. You could certainly use Hail Caesar miniatures. As I said, Sarg ones, we looked at it when we were first doing it, and you just can't get them tight enough on those round bases to fit into the movement trays. Whereas jugular is the other way around. You don't need many miniatures at all. You need 4 each, which is brilliant. And if you didn't really want to use miniatures, you could just buy the game and use tokens. Or we use gladiator. Everyone's got gladiator miniatures knocking around as well. So I just kind of like these ones. Because you get like a paper gladiator arena with the rules, which these guys fit on the squares nicely. Well, I kind of get it, but I'm a bit. I struggle with concentrating on big battles for too long. I can do Saga, I can do Skirm. I'm much better on smaller sort of skirmishy sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? But I do like going to the sword point events. Yeah, well, I made a sword point army a few years ago because I was going to have a go, and I made the army, but I didn't play, and so I sold it again. But I used the I made a late Romans one, and I think I needed about 3 boxes, so it was like 60 quid. So it's a fair whack of cash, but in the great scheme of things, when you're paying, you can pay 20 quid for a commander figure. It's horses for courses, isn't it? You know what I mean? But if you're not going to get into it, well, they're saying that if you've got Hell Caesar, etc., 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 and um, Kings of War. In fairness, you could use them in Kings of War as well. Just need movement trays, don't you? There we go. So that's them done. Let's see what we're going to do next. Okay, Mr. Whippy guy has got red pants on. He's got his red pants on. Let's start with my favourite. Yeah, I mean, Napoleon's, you're talking different. Whoa, it's a whole different world there, isn't it, mate? Even for a skirmish game, it's a lot miniatures, isn't it? So I'm going to use Abomination Gore, I think this one is. Which is the old War Paints range one. Yeah. They certainly had to have quite a few fair amount of cannon fodder, didn't they? Keep their horses safe. Finally, the miniatures I painted up from front rank ones that I painted up for sharp practice. I got moved into the studio again. Deciding whether to sell them or whether to. Trouble is, because they're not probably historically accurate, because I based them on the sharp TV program. I'm scared to sell them. Just in case a rivet counter buys them by mistake. Oh, yeah. That's true. Joe, I had a look at some silver. I had a look at the silver bayonet rules earlier. I didn't look at the rules, but I thought, he's got a red loincloth as well. Red on the gold there, so let's wash the brush out. When it's still wet, just brush that off. Just have a nice base layer. And this guy has got a blue. I'm keeping them roughly the same colours as the cards, just to make it easier for when I play. But I think the idea is you kind of customize them to whatever you want, really. I know the Beastie Boys are after another set of them, so these are probably head to Beast Towers anyway. We shall see. All right. I'll send a picture to you on our Facebook thing, Goose. Could be. They do a few there. I got. Is he one with the big haircut? Has he got an axe and kind of big bushy hair? That's what popped into my head. They did do quite a few like one-off for like they used to run a Grand Melee quite regularly, and they'll have a special miniature for that and what have you. That's where Kirk came from. All right. You send us a picture on the Facebook, mate. Do you follow us on Facebook? Yeah. Cool. Right, so now that's on, let's get some grovelly black wash. Now this now is mainly matte medium and black ink now. That's the way that we roll now. So it's kind of, as you can see, it's quite thin, which I like because I can put plenty of it on. But if you're using the Army Painter one, remember to wash it down a little bit because it does go very dark. I put lots of flow improver in this one, so it really does get in there, if you know what I mean. If you watch it on this greavelet, it really does get amongst it. With the black ink, it does go kind of a grey rather than pure black. Don't know why. Must be a slight white in the matte medium, I suppose. But hey. It's just a sword. So if he's gonna get washed to bits now, you watch this. We've got to make sure when you got lots of holes like that, that you go nice and gently over it, especially if you've got a lot of flow improver in there, because it's like washing up liquid, allegedly. So if you go too rough with it, you'll bubble it. You can see there. Just make sure you pop them, or don't let them dry because they kind of go weird. You'll either end up with a black spot or a area with no wash on it whatsoever, which is not what we want. I'm afraid I can't tell you the exact proportions of how much ink's in there because I don't count. I just eyeball it and then try it, and then know I want it, so I'll add a little bit more. All I say is add it slowly, because you can add it but you can't take it away. Well, technically you can make a bigger pot and put more medium in it, but hey, you know what I mean. It's got a very funny colour out there, out of my window. But you see how it's going on the sword there? It's going like that. I just go back in when it's still wet and just drag it around a bit. So I didn't want it to go like that. There we go. So that sword. But I say I'm going to try sepia on that one. First of all, we're going to grab the flesh one, and we're going to hit the gold. Hit that gold with the flesh shade. And with this, you've got to be brave. You've got to get it on there. Not so. You've got to get to that point where it's nearly going to run off and go everywhere. Just get it to hang in there. That must have been an awkward old helmet, that one as well. I think that was the one that's designed for the net to slip off, isn't it, that one? There's one that the helmet's got like bits for the net to catch. That's the guy with... Oh, I can't remember. I'm not Gladiator expert, I'm just painting them. But you know what I mean. We've all seen the film. We've all seen Gladiators. We've all seen Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus. And so is my wife. Right, let's put the flesh shade on the weapon bronze. Sorry guys, keep forgetting to check the focus is proper. That one. So now let's find that sepia one. I've actually got sepia ink as well, which is kind of cool. Let's just put on this guy, isn't it? I hope sepia is going to work. Let's have a look. Let's try on this. Yes. But rather than loading this, I would be a bit more sparing so it comes off with the rundown. So I'm going to wash the brush out, put some medium in it, and just wash the higher areas. It's going to make it run into the gaps. And before I do the helmet, this is another good tip, is get the medium. So I want it to run amongst all that detail on there. So I'm just going to put some medium on there first. Don't want gallons of it, you don't want it getting flooded out, you just want it wet. And then pick up your sepia, and it will happily run into all the grooves for you. Another way you could do it, if you wanted to, is to put a bit of gloss lacquer on there. Seems a lot of trouble for a little You could do it like that. There we go. If you want it a little stronger, you just dot a little bit in the areas you want it stronger. There we go. Nice. So start working that flesh. Working the flesh up. First of all, we're going to go back into our original flesh colour. That has almost dried up, so we're going to add some medium to it. Wow. It's basically said, stuff you, wet palette. So we're just going back in with the original, was it Moonstone Flesh, the first one we used. We just want to hit any, well, basically anywhere apart from the recesses. We want to leave that as is. More medium. Leaving the areas that are right tucked up underneath his armpit, like. That medium going. Just keep working that round. Just looking to re-establish our base colour really. Eyeballing round. Okay. Feeding lots of medium into that tray now because it's bringing the paint back to how we want it. Okay, mate. Sounds like the storm's got you. I was wondering whether it's going to affect. I don't know why it would. Working around this quickly, just ooh, it's gone very dark outside. Cool. Do-do-do. I think this is probably the easiest set to paint, I think. You've got a big advantage of them having lots of armour. Well, last week's ones did. We just made a big deal of painting lots of different metals, so did kind of make a bit of a rod for our own back, didn't we? But it was good to have an adventure, trying different stuff. But that's the thing, is trying different techniques and different colours we don't usually use is really good for you. Creativity, I suppose. That's the one, because you can get very stale, the right word? I don't know. But we kind of get into a bit of a rut of how we paint something. So this is the colours I use to do flesh. These are, so every so often I try and do something different. And in between commissions, I always try and, I don't tend to go from one commission to the next. I tend to have a bit of a palette cleanser of something completely different, which is why you see me painting kind of random stuff. So like I finished the other day one commission, so I grabbed an old Gandalf miniature and played with wet blending. So I've not wet blended anything for a while. So you've got all those real smooth blends. But it's something you can't do if you're batch painting, you know. See, be a bit blurry. And then we did the orc, because I'd never painted in those. I'd painted him before because he's an old miniature, but. And then we speed painted a 3D printed thing, and I thought I'll make him look slimy. So we put some gloss lacquer on his head. Because you've got to paint them. It's the law. I don't make the law. Sometimes I make up the law. Right, so next we're going to use ancient stone to start doing all the it's getting quite hot in here. So yeah, all of that juicy is it linen, I suppose, padding, but we're starting with, say, ancient stone, which is like an off-white. Still using my knackered brush with no tip. I just think it's really important because you've got to have a break, you've got to make this fun. As soon as you start not having fun, you're going to stop painting. And every so often, everyone's got to dig deep and paint, you know. I want to use these miniatures for a game, so I'm going to have to paint them. And you've got to dig deep sometimes, I get it. Especially as a commission painter, because, you know, can you paint these 1 million Romans for me? Yeah, okay. What colour do you want them? That'll be red then. Go. Okay. And keep the medium going into these. These always work. These paints do work better with a bit of medium in it. Which is kind of counterintuitive, isn't it? So you think, my paint will cover better if it's thicker. And it's just not the case. I'm gonna paint all these a base colour, even the strapping. Because as I pick it out in white, I can decide whether I want to throw some leather straps. One of them looks like chains as well. slide that in a minute. There we go. Now he has got half a leg missing. How did I miss that? Twice. I do think some of the flesh on this does look a little bit like trousers. It's not some of the smoothest of sculpting, but it still doesn't explain why I missed it twice. So I'll just put that one on there for now. I'll let that dry off and then catch it back up with a bit of wash. Not a problem. These things happen when you're painting live, as long as we catch the mistakes. Because paints, we all get them, we all catch mistakes at some point. There we go. Thought I'd better say something because I was concentrating a bit then and I went quiet, so I thought I'd better let you know the audio's still working. So this ancient stone, and the next one up is bony spikes or something, and then it goes up to a yellowy, like a more of a woolly white and a matte white, which I wanted to look kind of off-white. Flesh is almost dried it. It is quite warm. This makes me laugh how little his feet look with all this armour about. I shall stab him in the foot. That bit in the film is harsh, and you know it's coming. It's a bit like the scene in Jaws where the head falls into the hole of the boat when he's underneath the. You know it's coming, and you kind of get yourself ready, but it's always a oh. I think that bit in Jaws was our first video replay moment. Me and one of my brothers. Uh, yeah, it's can you pause it as the head falls into the hole game. You could do that with Gladiator as well, yeah. Can you pause it as the dagger goes into his foot? Although it's not so much fun with CDs and stuff, is it? The DVD players. Now, digitally. They will never know the joy of trying to stop a video recorder in the exact place. Yeah. That's the weird thing of human nature, isn't it? We cheer because he's the hero and he does it. But if the baddie did it and won, well, we wouldn't be so happy then, would we? We're having the Monty Python quoting game yesterday as well. That was quite good. Old man. I'm 36. It's not old. I just can't call you man. You could have called me Gerald. I just love that scene. Are you king of the Britons? Who are the Britons? Oh, it's all going off now. You'll all be quoting. You'll be hearing Monty Python in your heads now for the rest of the evening. That's a noisy car. That's a little car as well. Yeah, it's true. Go on, you're all allowed to type in your favourite one-liner. There's just so many good ones. We were literally going for a long, long time, and he was trying to tell me something really important, and I was jumping between Life of Brian and Holy Grail. I didn't hit him with any meaning of life, in fairness. just absolutely bonkers, isn't it? And the strange thing is he was forgetting where he was in the conversation each time I did it to him, and I was remembering where he was in his conversation, so I was reminding him after I did it, so he kept starting in the same point of the conversation, which was terribly cruel. Uh, but did keep us amused for a little while. Multi-pass. Mm. I should go back to talking about miniatures then, mate. Okay. So now we're going to start on the lever, I think. This is Mr. Whippy's a Hampton championing. Do like that pose. Now we could either go for our free. Did I catch there? I didn't get his leg in there. Think about that. I've got a blank spot. You sometimes get them on miniatures. I don't know if you've accounted this. You'll find that there's a certain part of a miniature you keep missing. And it seemed to be this one. You get it sometimes if you're batch painting. And you line up all the same miniature and you always miss the same bit. So it's always good to every so often just have a little scan, a little look at what you got going on. So I didn't miss under there. I suppose it's because I'm going around that way. And when I get to there, I think I'm done. So you see, pop it down. And we're looking for just that sort of base coat because we start working the other white up. So that's not a problem. So we haven't got a lot of leather to do, so I'm just going to suggest that we use our secret weapon, which is Vallejo Modeler Burnt Umber. If you've not grabbed yourself a pot yet, make sure you do. And then we're just going to hit all of that lovely, lovely leathery bits. So put a bit of medium in my brush. Where it's a bit transparent. That undershading works a treat. when you paint a lot of miniatures, this brown does save an awful lot of time. Okay. If you batch paint a lot. Be careful because it's a little bit runnier than standard paint. Something tells me that was probably the easiest bit to sculpt on the whole miniature. But probably quite hard to make the mould of. That's thick enough of it. Put a little bit of medium in there. That's how quickly that's drying tonight. Oh, blimey. It's not often you see these special secret weapon drying out. There we go. It doesn't make absolute short work of doing the leather. So I'll slide it out of focus there. Let's do some nice little tight lines. So you need your brush with a bit of a point on it. Okay. Something's happening into my wise. Just reconnected out. We didn't lose anyone. My apologies if we did. I think we we're just about to be thundered on in a minute. Hopefully I won't get taken out. If we do, I'll stop painting and then come back tomorrow or something. Quite nice paint this because it does run into the grooves quite well. It's more the dog freaking out that'd be. Oh wow, the guy's face on here is like really crazy, bald and crazy. They should have given him his head. Yeah, so we can do all the leather work with this brown. Which saves us a substantial amount of time. Wow. Yeah, my Mrs. I think it was her cousin got hit by lightning when they were in a field. Yeah. So I'm just concentrating on the little straps on the sandals. They certainly make for exciting times anyway, don't they? Okay, cheat a bit and use the back. The shield. just going to be as tidy as you can doing this. Knowing that you can tidy up a little bit. It's going to be hard to cover that brown with the white, so if you're not sure, just do the brown first. Should have done really. Teaching you all bad habits. I was saying that if you put that first layer of white on, it does make it easier to paint this. It kind of runs into the grooves if you see. So you've got a nice point on your brush. There we go. That's one keeping that medium going there, so it will thicken up as it dries. See, it's getting really hot in here. I mean, the paints on my palette, on the wet palette, are dry. So it's crazy. I'm all out of focus again there, sorry guys. I have to investigate the focus on this again. It updated the software and it's changed the way the camera worked. And I just refound the old setting. So they've improved it again. Thank you. I used to be able to set the focus so it'd stay in this area. Now if it thinks there's a face over there, so I've got to keep him center frame. Might do is change next week. I'll set my camera up on the pod because then I'll be able to keep this guy center frame better. I shall endeavour to try that out. Ah. Okay. It's not old, is it? Some moistened bint. Distributing scimitars willy-nilly is no mandate for government. Thank you, JD. I had to think then. It was like, oh, okay. What's your favorite color? This is where any Monty Python, not Monty Python fans will think, what is he going? Is he having a breakdown online? Let's use this for the back of his shield as well. I've told him we already have one. I've told him we already have one. It is thrown in for a bit. Nice. Excellent. Okay, so let's take the next flesh tone up. We're going to go for agate skin. Now, because we're starting to, let's get some more medium infused, loads of it, so it's right. So now we're going to stay on the raised areas. We're going to go for peaks and valleys. Let's down the peaks now. Fairly well defined muscle structures on these guys, so it's pretty easy to start picking out. Just keep thinning that flesh tone. So it's on the face of your forehead, nose, top of the cheekbones, chin. There we go. Into the medium, get a little bit sweater. Start picking out these big muscle groups. That's why we're thinning our paint as well. So it means the dark colour's going to show through a little bit. Help with our blending. On the knuckles, top of the fingers there, where it's going to catch anywhere it's facing upwards. Certainly centre out of any of the shadowy areas. You should be able to work this skin tone up pretty damn quick. There we go. going around a couple more areas again. Just staying inside where I've already worked. It's quite hard to get this paint nice and thin. It's actually a little bit thinner in this. Which means our blends aren't going to be quite smooth as usual. You might have to put a wash over it at the end. All you do is go back in with like the mid-tone, make it really, really thin, and just wash it over. We'll see how it is when we finish. Thing is, JD, with that that quote, you can hear the voice in your head, but you daren't try it. You know what I mean? The birds are singing like crazy. Does that mean it's going to get stormy in a minute? I have to worry when they go quiet. Yep. That's what we do, keep the medium going into that paint. We start seeing those lines appearing like I just did there. Don't know how well I picked up that camera. Oh, moved off centre line again. Sorry, guys. And so I'm starting to pick out some darker lines there. I don't usually get those when I've thinned my paint enough. So just go back in and work a little bit of thinned out paint. But each time I'm putting a layer on, I'm staying inside the last one. So it's been quite a challenge in the heat in the room tonight. Just changes everything. Just add a bit more medium. A bit more medium, a bit more often. Work a bit faster. Okay. Just picking out those areas. Still going to go for another flesh tone yet. Your colours yet as well. Here we go. We give the flesh cut a little bit of a break while we deal with some of these colours. So let's do that red. So we're going to go dragon red. It's got abomination gore on the bottom, I think. Into the medium, into the paint. Oh, pardon me. And go straight into picking out highlights by staying on the high parts. The peaks, as we put it. That's the peaks. And leaving the valleys. Yeah, it's true. I think it's right. The wet palette's right in the flow of the air. Just hitting the peaks, leaving the valleys. Peak, peak, peak. Leave those valleys. I'm just painting down the sides of the valleys a little bit because there's quite a big, when you get a big gap like there, if you don't fill that little bit in there, you get a little bit of a, the blend's not quite smooth enough. I'll show you again. So usually I'd say peak, 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 peak. Yeah, but as you can see, there's massive gaps. So what we do is we come down the sides of our peaks a bit. So where it's quite wide, you'd get plenty of light in there anyway. And we could go up another red, so it's not a problem. Let's jump another blue up. So we add Imperial Navy, so we're going to go to Regal Blue. Into the medium. Same thing, peaks and valleys. So along the edge, getting that top edge. So imagine my light's coming down onto it. It's a very similar blue, so it will be alright. It's only a couple of tones lighter. So you have to go 3 or 4 up on this one. You can use the flexible triads in different orders as well if you want to. You have to go pretty. Well, I want to play a blue line round here. just because I want to. I thought it'd be cool looking. There we go. Thinking about doing one around the edge as well. I'm just leaving a white bit down the middle. That looked kind of cool, wouldn't it? Sorry if I'm not in focus at the moment. I just had to lock my hand off so I can paint a nice straight blue line. And I will promise to get the camera back in. Once I'm locked. So locking the back of my hand against the desk while I'm doing this sort of thing. There we go. So let's do the next flesh, which is bubbly bear in flesh. Now we're hitting the actual time of forecast this storm for now. Let's see how good they are. So we thin this barbarian flesh out. And we're just now going to start doing just highlights with this. So start with his face. So it's across the top of his eyes, the forehead, down the centre of his nose, across the top of his cheeks, top of his ears, on the top of his chest there, bit in his neck. You'll have to excuse me guys on the focus. So it's anywhere that we've already highlighted out, we're staying inside of. Yeah, we're gonna have to, where the blends look quite rough, we're probably gonna have to put a wash over them, or if you've got a nice flesh tone, the one up the John Blanche kit is very, very nice. It's the same pretty much as the old flesh wash that Army Paint did, which is not too far away from Reichland Flesh, I believe, in GW line. We used the Speed Paint 2 to get our original. This is alright on his leg. It's just gone a little bit rough around there, so I might just get away with just a little bit of flesh tone in there. Just struggling a little bit to get the paints. My favourite consistency. That's coming in a bit now. That's cool. Also, just got to have a look around, work around, back around the miniature again, just touch certain areas out. definitely think when it's completely dry, I'll be putting a little wash over it. I'll probably do that in the morning and make sure it's all completely. It's got quite a few layers on there at the moment. The thing you got to watch when it's warm is if you're using washes, they won't have their usual amount of drying time, so you have to watch the amount you put on. And stuff that you usually do moving them around won't work and all that sort of stuff. Just be aware of that. What you can do when it's like this, if you take it up another tone so it's really light, then you get to knock it back. So it's like take it to 11, knock it back to 10. That's what's worth considering doing. I think we should be alright though. Let that wash. That sepia's gone really nice on that lid now, look. Just taking some slightly darker look. It's really hard to see on this light. I'll do what I usually do, to finish them up in the morning and then get them in the light box. And a bit more medium to the paint. There we go. Red. This is the pure red, which is going to be our top highlight for our red. Medium in there. So again, just on the very highest tips now, so right on this edge, and lift. Don't go right along it. Touch it and lift. Touch it, lift. So you're letting some of the other colour stay there. Less is more. If you just went along the edge, it just looked like it's got a different edging on it rather than it's a highlight. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep some medium in there. A little bit on there. Just looking for our highest peaks. Nothing in the valleys this time. If you watched this before, you know that's how we describe the peaks and valleys. seemed the easiest, obvious way to go. And hopefully you see it better on him. So across the top of the peaks. Not all the way. There you saw that one. Let's see if we can get it a bit closer. So just onto the peak, off, on. There we go. And we get a higher blue. We got a blue highlight, which is royal blue. It's kind of like old magic blue, I think it's called. I'm going to do the same thing on there. I'm going to just highlight some of the edges. Not all of them. Do a little bit, we move a little bit on there, move a little bit on there, on there. There we go. We've got this light blue. Just going to touch some into the top edges of that one. Guess we can. Right. So we've got to highlight the metals out, do some hair, do some eyeballs, and it's pretty much there. I think I'm going to cease battle with the elements and call that a good 2.5 hour stint on these. Let's have a look at what we've got. We've got Mr. Whippy, alias Aquarius. So obviously I'm going to do his hair, finish off blending his flesh in a little bit in the morning. I'm going to have to highlight the metals. We'll highlight the cloth as well. So a little bit to do on him. A little less to do on him, but obviously his shield. A few highlights to do. But after 2.5 hours, I'm pretty happy that we've got some half decent looking figures. Maybe another half an hour to an hour work on these and they'll be completely done. The blends on his blue's gone nice. I like those. My favourite bit of those. Let's have a look at the reds on. Yeah, the reds work as well. Look. Right, I'm going to call it there, guys. Before this, it's gone. I know it's 10 o'clock, but it's gone very, very dark out there. Yeah, I'll finish them up in the morning and get them onto Facebook and X and Blue Sky and all that groovy stuff. And what have you. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you're a bit more comfortable where you are than I am here. But thanks for joining me all the same. Have a good... Yeah, keep your heads above water, yeah. Fair shout, Cubes. Right, thanks for joining me, and if you're seeing this tomorrow, if you could do us a favour and drop a subscribe and a like, that's great. Check us out on Pirate Rich Plays as well, and all that groovy stuff. I will leave you to it, guys. Thank you very, very much. And this is Rich out from Pirate Bay. Cheers, and guys, have a good one.